Welcome back to Shadows of the East. Tonight, we're diving into the dark undercurrents of a Thai paradise, where in 2010, a solo traveler checked into her beachside bungalow and was never seen again. No struggle, no note, just the tide licking at her doorstep. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll map the last days of her dream vacation, unravel a suspicious cover-up, and explore the chilling legend of a spirit that has claimed souls since the 2004 tsunami. Prepare for salt and secrets. Let's call her Elsa. She was 24, trading the cold winters of Stockholm for the sun-drenched promises of Southeast Asia. It was the classic gap year fantasy. Full moon parties, jungle treks, and sunsets that looked like they were painted just for her. She landed on an island still healing from the tsunami, where the bungalows were cheap and the atmosphere was electric. She checked into bamboo hut number 7, alone, her passport freshly stamped, and her smile as wide as the horizon. The owner of the resort was a man in his mid-30s, radiating that easy island charm. Locals called him Phi, which means big brother. He had a quick smile, poured strong drinks, and as it turns out, had an insurance policy for just about everything. Elsa kept a journal. On her first day, she wrote, "Phi says the island keeps its secrets in the coral." Just 2 days later, he was her guide on a dive trip, his hand lingering a little too long on the small of her back. The 4th night was the pre-party for the full moon. The buckets of cheap cocktails were flowing. The last known photo of Elsa shows her laughing, with Phi's arms slung around her. But if you look closely, in the blurred background, you can just make out the shape of a woman in white, watching from the edge of the trees. The next morning, hut number 7 was empty. The bed was perfectly made, the mosquito nets still tucked in. Her passport, wallet, and phone were all there, lying on the pillow. The phone screen was cracked, and her last text was unsent. It read, "The tide feels alive tonight." When the local police finally arrived 2 days later, they wrote it off as typical tourist drama. They found a single set of footprints leading from her hut down to the water's edge, and then nothing. The tide had washed away her exit. Phi told them she probably went for a night swim, that the riptides there eat people, but that didn't explain why her flip-flops were still sitting right by her door. Divers began to search the turquoise depths. Wedged in a coral reef 60 feet down, they found her camera. The waterproof housing was cracked, the lens fogged with seawater. They managed to recover the final footage. It shows Elsa snorkeling alone as the sun went down. You can hear her narrating, "The fish are whispering." Then a shadow crosses the frame. A hand presses against the lens from below, and for a split second, you can see it. The palm looks almost webbed. The video cuts to static. The investigation turned to Phi. His financial records showed that bungalow number 7 was insured for 2 million baht. Elsa's own travel insurance policy was for 5 million, with the beneficiary listed as to be determined. The bar's security camera told a different story than Phi's. It showed him leaving with Elsa around 2 in the morning, his arm around her waist. It then showed him returning alone at 4 a.m., his pants soaked, his pockets full of sand. After 5 days of questioning, his story cracked. He confessed, "She wanted to swim to the buoy. I tried to stop her, but the logs for that navigational buoy showed no activity that night. A dive knife was missing from his shop. It was found weeks later, embedded in the same coral reef where her camera was, with barnacles already starting to grow over what like traces of blood." After the accident, the real hauntings began. New guests staying in hut number 7 would wake up in the middle of the night, soaking wet, even though their bed sheets were bone dry. Their hair would be dripping with seawater. The hammocks outside would swing violently with no wind. Footprints would appear on the floor, leading from the bed to the door, only to vanish into the wooden floorboards. During every full moon, the tide would rise unnaturally high, flooding the resort grounds, but stopping right at the threshold of hut number 7. Guests reported hearing a Thai lullaby being sung on the breeze, but the lyrics were twisted. Come float with me forever. Local fishermen started netting strange things elephant pants, like the ones Elsa wore, tied into nooses around coral heads. Paranormal investigators captured audio from the hut. A clear voice, speaking with a Swedish accent, whispered 2 words. Fi. Lead. The local legends offer a chilling explanation. They believe the spirits of women who were taken by the 2004 tsunami still linger, becoming guardians of the coast. They say Elsa simply joined them. As for Fi, he fled the island in 2012. He was later found drowned off the coast of Phuket. The autopsy report was bizarre. His lungs were filled with sand, and in his boat they found a pair of elephant pants. Today, hut number 7 has been demolished. But people who visit that exact spot find their GPS coordinates go haywire. Compasses spin, phones die, and sometimes a voice comes from the speaker, whispering, "Come swim." The sea holds its secrets deep. It doesn't forget. Thanks for joining us on Shadows of the East. If you have a story about a chill you can't explain, leave it in the comments below. The waves are listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.